Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Kapil, Assistant Professor in the Department of English in Marri Laxman Reddy Institute of Technology and Management, Hyderabad. So we are here today to discuss tenses. This is a continuation of our last class. In our last class, we have covered definition, importance of tenses, and horizontal and vertical classification of tenses. Along with that, we have covered helping verbs and main verbs used in all the tenses. Today in this class, we are going to discuss application or uses of the tenses. It means that in which situation, in which case we are going to use which tenses. As you all know, there are total 12 tenses, 4 of present tense, 4 of past tense, and 4 future tense. So, which tense will be used in which condition, this thing we are going to discuss today. So, before discussing the uses, let us recall the exercise or let us solve the exercise which I gave in the last class. So the first sentence, he blank English. This is the structure of all the sentences. So he blank English. The verb which is to be used is learn in all the tenses. The tense, simple present tense. Now we need to use helping verb plus main verb in all the tenses, but in case of simple tenses, we do not use do or does in case of affirmative sentences. Then where do we use? We use only and only in negative and interrogative sentences. Right? So, in this sentence, only main verb is to be used. So, what is the main verb? Learn. Now, we need to identify our subject. He is a third person singular pronoun. So for third person singular pronoun, we are going to use V1 plus S or ES. That makes our verb learns. Next sentence, same sentence, but the tense is changed. That is present continuous tense. So in present continuous tense, our helping verb will be either is, am or are. But with the third person singular, we are going to use is. Now, main verb V1 plus ing. So, what is our V1? Learn. Learn plus ing, learning. So, next sentence, he blank English. The verb is learn and the tense is present perfect tense. So, our helping verb will be has for singular subject plus V3. That will be learned. L-E-A-R-N-T, learned. Now, same perfect continuous tense, have been learning. Has been learning. Why? Because it is singular subject. Next, he blank English. Simple past tense, we are not going to use any kind of helping verb. Why? Because it is affirmative sentence. We use only and only in case of negative or interrogative sentences. Then what will we use? V2, that is L-E-A-R-N-T, learned. Next, he blank English. Same past continuous tense, was learning. Next, he blank English. The tense is past perfect tense. So, had learned. Next, he blank English. Tense is past perfect continuous tense, had been learning. Next, he blank English for simple future tense, he will learn English. Now, because we know will or shall is used in case of simple future tense. Now, where do you use in will? Will is used with, shall is used with I or we, and with all other subjects we are going to use will. Next, he blank English will be learning. Why? Future continuous tense. Will be is our helping verb. Learning will be V1 plus ing as main verb. He blank English, future perfect tense. Will have learned. Next, future perfect continuous tense, will have been learning. I hope you all understand all the sentences, the uses of helping verbs or main verbs. Next, as I told you, we are going to discuss uses or applications of all the tenses. So our first tense was simple present tense. Where do you use simple present tense? So first thing, to express habitual actions of present, means it is used to describe our habits of present. We are not talking about habits of past. For example, he wakes up early in the morning. Now it is a habit. For example, if I say you wake up early in the morning, it is your habit. I play cricket. It is my habit that I play cricket daily in the evening. So such are the habits. Next, to express general or universal truths. This is a good term, general or universal truths. What do we mean by universal truths? The truths which were true in the past will be true in the future and are true in the present. So to express general or universal truths, for example, the sun rises in the east. The sun rises in the east. In the same way, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. It does not boil even at 99.9 degrees Celsius. It does not boil at 98 degrees Celsius. It only boils at 100 degrees Celsius in India, in Pakistan, in US, in UK, everywhere. This is a standard temperature to boil water. So, universal truth, or you can say general truths. Next, next is in case of exclamatory sentences beginning with here or there. For example, here comes the bus. Here comes the bus. There she goes. Now in goes, comes, we are using present simple tense. Next is in broadcast commentaries on sports event. You might have listened to various commentaries on various events like cricket, football, or basketball, any. So one example I have mentioned, Kohli smashes the ball for a six. So smashes, again V1 plus SOS denotes present simple tense. To express a fixed future event, something that is fixed, scheduled to happen. For example, the next flight is at 5 o'clock. The flight is scheduled in future. To express that, we are using present simple tense. Moving on to present continuous tense. Present continuous tense is used to express an action which is going on, which is continuous at the time of action. She is having her lunch now. When she is telling this thing, or when I am telling you this thing, she is having her lunch. This thing is still continuous. Next, for an action which is in progress but not necessarily happening at the time of speaking. This thing at the time of action is wrong. It is not. It should not be mentioned. It should be time of speaking. Where is it? Time of speaking. Happening at the time of speaking. So next one was for an action which is in progress but not necessarily happening at the time of speaking. For example, I'm learning French. It does not mean that I'm learning French at the time of speaking. When I'm speaking, I'm talking to you, I'm speaking this sentence, I'm not learning French at that time. I'm reading 12th Fail. 12th Fail is a novel. So if I say I'm reading 12th Fail, but at the time of speaking, I'm not reading 12th Fail. I'm teaching you tenses. So not necessary at the time of speaking, but this thing is in progress, is continuous in background. So for an action planned to happen in future, number 3 is for an action planned to happen in future. That means again planned future. For example, I'm going to Delhi next week. So to express our continuous our future tense, we use present continuous tense. I'm going to Delhi, my uncle is arriving today. Both the things will happen in future. So one more thing, a note for you all guys. There are a few verbs which are not used in continuous form. I'm not talking about present continuous tense now. I'm talking about continuous form. That means in all the 6 continuous tenses, present continuous, past continuous, future continuous. In the same way, present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, and future perfect continuous. In any of these sentences, we do not use these verbs on account of their meaning. What does it mean? That their normal meaning will not be there if we use in continuous tense. Their meaning will be changed. For example, perception. See, the verb see is not used in continuous form. Why? If we say seeing, what does it mean? It means dating. That if I say I am seeing her, that means I am dating her. Next, appearance. There are various verbs which are mentioned, like see, hear, smell, notice, recognize. In the same way, verbs of appearance. For example, appear or look or seem. If I say no, I'm looking at you, that means I'm looking at you. You are visible to me in that way. But if I say you look dull, that means you appear dull. So the meaning of looking and look, there can be two different meanings. One is look, you look dull, that means you appear dull. And when I say I'm looking at you, I'm I see you in that way. So emotions, verbs of emotions like want, wish, desire, feel, like feel, I feel cold, so I'm feeling cold, right? But if I say feeling, feeling means our emotions, it will be noun. That's why on account of the meaning we do not use these verbs in their continuous forms. So emotion, want, wish, desire, feel, like, love, this one, love or hate, we say I love you or I hate you, right? We never say I'm loving you or I am hating you. We never use this sentence. So these verbs are not used in continuous forms. Verbs of thinking also: think, suppose, believe, agree, consider, trust, remember, forget, know, understand, imagine, mean, or mind. Next, verbs of possession. For example, own, possess, belong to, contain, consist of, or have. These verbs are also not used in continuous form. Then where do we use or how do we express these verbs, these actions in our day-to-day life? Instead of using continuous tense, we use simple tense. For example, in place of present continuous tense, we'll use present simple tense. Past continuous, past simple tense. In place of future continuous tense, we'll use simple future tense. But what about future perfect continuous tense? Present perfect continuous tense, or future perfect continuous tense, or past perfect continuous tense? We will use perfect tense. Instead of perfect continuous tense, we will use perfect tense. And so next is our present perfect tense. We express recently completed actions or activities which are completed in immediate past, just now. For example, I have just taught you present continuous tense. So to express those activities, we use present perfect tense, not continuous, present perfect tense. For example, I have just had my lunch. In immediate past, recent past, he had just gone out immediately, right? Just now. So to express completed activities in the immediate past, we use present perfect tense. So one more thing, to express past actions whose time is not given and not definite. This thing is necessary, and this thing differentiates past simple tense and present perfect tense. What is the difference? When time is not mentioned and not definite, we will use present perfect tense. But if some time of past is given, is mentioned, or is understood by the context, in that case we will use past simple tense. So like he has been to Dubai. Now he has been to Dubai. He went to Dubai, at some point of time in past, but we are using present perfect tense to express past actions whose time is not mentioned. For example, she has completed her task. When? Is not mentioned. Is not defined. Next, to describe past actions when we think more of their effect in the past, in the present, than of their action itself. For example, I have cut my finger. I'm not talking about the action of cutting the finger. I'm talking about its effect now. It can be bleeding, like it is bleeding now, or it can be paining. If I say it is paining, my idea behind saying I have cut my finger is either it is bleeding now or it is paining now. Next, I have finished my work. That means I'm free now. I'm not talking about completion of the task in this sentence. I'm talking about its present effect. It means I'm free. So present perfect continuous tense is used to express an action which began at some point of time in the past and is still continuous. For example, he has been sleeping for 5 hours. That means he started sleeping or he slept 5 hours back and he's still sleeping. I don't know up to what time he'll be sleeping, but still sleeping. We are not sure about future, but at present it is continuous. And now, and note for you guys, in both the sentences, we find for or since. Where do we use since and where do we use for? Since is used to denote point of time. That in past or in present, pick point. Like 1:10 p.m. This is a point of time. January 20, point of time. But if I say period of time, 5 hours, duration, 5 months, 10 years, that is a duration, period of time. To express period of time, we use for. For example, I have been building the bridge for 5 months. Shows period of time. He has been working on this project since June 2024. Now, this June 2024 was a point of time in 2023. Only 1 month was June. Not continuous 5 months were June. No, only one point of time was June. Next, moving on to our past simple tense, to express the past habits. If you remember, to express present habits, we use present simple tense. To express past habits, we are going to use past simple tense. For example, he studied 5 hours every day. It was his habit. He's not studying 5 hours a day right now, nowadays. So she always carried an umbrella. Her habit. So moving on to next rule, to indicate an action completed in the past and some adverb or adverb phrase of past time is given, is also used. This thing I have told you while telling you present perfect tense. The thing that differentiates present perfect and past simple tense is time. When some time of past or adverb of time of past is mentioned in the sentence, in that case we will use past simple tense. For example, I met him yesterday. Now this one, adverb of time of past. That's why met. So she left the college last year. Time of past is mentioned in the sentence. That's why V2. V2 is a past form of verb. Next, sometimes this tense is also used without an adverb of time. I will say, sir, how will we differentiate from present perfect and past simple tense now? Because time is not mentioned. In this case, time of past is understood by the context in which the sentence is being used. For example, I learned Telugu in Hyderabad. That means when I was there in Hyderabad, I learned Telugu. Next, Ram killed Ravana. By the context you understood, it was in the past, right? So we are going to the next sentence, the next tense, past continuous tense. It is similar to present continuous tense to express an action going on at some point of time in past, which was continuous. The time of action may or may not be given. When it will not be given, it will be understood by the context. We were watching movie all night. That means we are talking about last night. He was playing cricket. Whenever we saw him, he was playing cricket. So next rule is to compare two actions of past happening at the same time, simultaneously, side by side, like the rails of a train. So while I was playing cricket, my sister was cooking food. Two actions are mentioned in this sentence. First one is playing cricket, and second one is cooking food. Both the actions were going simultaneously at the same point of time in past. So to compare those two actions, next sentence is while you are wasting your time. While you are wasting time, he was learning new skills. So two actions are mentioned in this sentence, and both the actions are compared. That when one thing was happening, second thing was also happening at the same time. Next, past simple and past continuous tense are used together when two actions are mentioned in the sentence. One action was continuous for a period of time, and second action happened in between that period of time. For example, when he called me, I was playing football. Now two actions are happening in the sentence. First, playing football. Now from point A to point B, for example, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. During this 1 hour, I was playing football. In between that 1 hour, he called me. He called me at some point of time. So for that action which happened once or twice for a point of time, just a moment or minute, we are going to use simple tense, past simple tense. For a period of time, we are going to use continuous tense because the action was continuous over a period of time. Moving on to past perfect tense. We use past perfect tense to express an action completed before a certain moment in the past. This tense is also known as past of past. Let's understand this term past of past by timeline. See, this is our timeline. This is our present. This will be our future. This is our past, total past. So we'll take some point of time in past, and that action happened even before this point of time in past. Suppose at 22 October this thing happened, and we are taking reference of 30th October, right? 30th October is past for us now. For us, today's date, 30th October is past, and for 30th October, 22 October was past. So 22 October is past of 30th October. That is past for us right now. So this tense is also known as past of past. It means when something happened in past, before that point of time, some other thing also happened. For example, I had met him 2 times before 2021. We are taking reference of some point of time in past, and that action happened even before that. So I had met him 2 times before 2021. Next, I had known him for 2 years before I met him again in 2024. So we are taking reference of some point of time in past to show again some point of time in past. For that, we will use past perfect tense. Next, if two actions happened in the past, one before another, then the previous action, the precedent, will be expressed by past perfect tense, and the antecedent or the recent action will be expressed using the past simple tense. For example, I had done my exercise when Hari came to see me. So, Hari came to see me. This thing happened recently. Before that, I had done my exercise. So two actions happened. The previous action, completion of exercise, is expressed by using past perfect tense, and the recent action, Hari came to see me, we have expressed by using past simple tense. So another example, I had written the letter before he arrived. So two action happened again. He arrived. I had written the letter. He arrived recent is the recent action. I had written the letter is the precedent event. For that we used past perfect tense, and for the recent action we used past simple tense. Moving on to past perfect continuous tense. This tense is used to express an action that began before a point of time, certain point in the past, and continued up to that time. For example, this is our timeline: present, future. This point is past for us. For example, 2023, right? And something was started even before it, 2020, and it continued for 3 years up to 2023. So, for example, at that time, he had been writing a novel for 2 months. Now, at that time, at a certain point of time in past, for example, 2023, he had been writing a novel for 2 months. Next, when I joined the college, Mr. Sharma had already been teaching for 5 years. Now, when I joined this college, Mr. Sharma, he had been teaching in this college for 5 years. He had already completed 5 years. So this was our past tense. Moving on to simple future tense. This tense is used to talk about things that we cannot control. Control about future. Actions which will be done in the future, we cannot control them. It expresses the future as fact. For example, if I say, I shall be 26 next year. 26, I am talking about age. Can we control our age? No. We are stating this thing as a fact, and this being 26 will be next year, in future, not in present. So to express the things that we cannot control, we will use simple future tense. Next, to talk about things that we believe or think will happen in the future, our prediction. For example, I think Pakistan will lose the match. Such sentences will be expressed by using I think or I believe, and then simple future tense will be used. I think Sonal will be absent today. Next uses, number 3, we use this tense to talk about things that we decide to do at the time of speaking. For example, it is raining. When I'm saying that it is raining, I'm telling you it is raining, I decided I'll take an umbrella. Whenever I'll go out, I'll take an umbrella. So this was your simple future tense. Moving on to future continuous tense. This tense is used to express the actions which will be continuous at a point of time in future. For example, he'll be meeting us next week. This future, that meeting will be continuous in future. Next, the milkman will be coming soon. So again, the process will be continuous. Action will be completed in the future. So moving on to future perfect tense, to express an action that will be completed by a certain point of time. See, continuous tense. Talk about continuity, and perfect tense talk about completion. Then future perfect tense is used to express an action that will be completed by a certain point of time in future. For example, I shall have completed my exercise by then. By then means in future. At that time in future, I shall have completed my exercise. Next, he will have left before you go to see him. So this action will have been completed in the future. Moving on to future perfect continuous tense. This tense is used to express an action which will be in progress over a period of time in future and will end in the future. For example, by next March, we shall have been studying here for 2 years. Or I will have been teaching for 5 years next July. By that point of time in future, we shall have completed 2 years of learning or 5 years of teaching, anything that you consider. So it was all about tenses, the uses or application of tenses. I hope you all understood the topic. References. I have referred to Wren and Martin, written the book High School English Grammar and Composition by Wren and Martin, published by S. Chand Publisher. So this was all from my side. If you have any doubt, you can comment your doubts in the comment section. So that's all from my side. Bye bye. Thank you. Good night.